for the end. It's taping my screen. So here we go. All right, we just did a whole thing about what's pairwise comparison. Beginning of your chapter, there's a little write-up about Marquis de Condorcet. All right, and you could read about it. You do it on your own if you really care. That's where this method comes from. So this is often called the Condorcet method, where you rank all the candidates. So you have to do the ranking thing. I like this one first, second, third, fourth, depending on how many they are. Then you compare every possible pair of candidates. And I'm just going to do that down in the chart. We talked in class about how that works. You have to figure it out from my little video here. And then the candidates are assigned points based off of how they do on these pairings. So if they beat another one when they pair up, they get 1 point. And we'll see this in the actual notes here. So, step 1, find the comparison margins for each pair of candidates. Award a point to the winner. If there is a tie when you compare two candidates, then they each get a half point. And then the candidate with the most points after this little comparison wins. The first one's small. Like I told 6 Hour, which I happen to be doing a video. Your homework has 4 candidates in one of the worksheets, and another one has 5. I did verbalize how if you had 5 candidates A through E, you'd first have to compare A to B. Who wins? Like where's A compared to B? When A is higher ranked than B, A wins that little one-on-one battle. And then you have to go all the way through the voting ballot to figure out who wins between A and B. If A wins, A gets 1 point beating B. Then you compare A to C, A to D, A to E. Then you compare B to C, B to D, B to E. Then you compare C to D, C to E. Then you compare D to E. This is going to be an awesome video. All right, so now we can go to the chart. I think I saw a hand up, so let's hold off for a second. Wait till this is done. Okay, now this is how you do it, again, with the chart or your eyes. This is about, your eyes hopefully can handle this without having to do what I do, because you don't have the power of this Windows Journal to be able to do what I'm doing. So the first comparison, I'm going to compare Alice to Bob, and who cares about everyone else? Well, there's only one other person, which is Carlos. So right now we're going to not look at Carlos. You have to ignore Carlos. And then we look and just compare, how does Alice do against Bob? Who wins in this first column, Alice or Bob? Alice. So Alice gets 3 victories. Who wins in this one? Alice gets 2 victories over Bob. And so on and so on and so forth. So I think what's smart is just to handle Alice. So Alice gets 3. Did you see that? 4, 5. Who wins in this one? Who wins this one? And then this one. 6, 7 was that? 8, 9, 10 wins over Bob. So Alice gets 10 wins comparing to Bob. And then how many votes are there total? 17. So that means Bob should get the rest of the 7. If you wanted to count Bob, make sure it just adds up to 17 when you're done. In first hour I did count them, but why? There's 17 total votes. This should add up to 17 when you're done, right? Yes, Mr. Samuels. Okay, so then I'm going to back up instead of erasing because it stinks. And then you got to trick your eyes to be able to do the next thing, which is compare now Alice to Carlos. So who doesn't matter now? What about Bob? So you have to have your eyes not be able to see Bob. I just figured I'd cross them out to do that. And then let's stick with Carlos. Win. Nope. Win. Right? Isn't Carlos ahead there in all of these columns, right? All right, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many are left over? That means Alice won the other 9. I mean, come on, this isn't rocket science. So who wins? Alice. I forgot to say in the last one. That means Alice gets a point for this one and a point for this one. In a 3-person voting system, this means what? Without even doing a third check. Means what? Alice won, because it doesn't matter who wins the last comparison. Alice has 2 wins out of 3. No one could get more than 3 points. No one could get, when she has 2, there's only 1 left. All right, but just for fun, get rid of Alice, and then do the comparisons for who wins when ranked against each other. Carlos gets 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, nope, nope. 8, 9, 10. So Carlos got 10 against Bob. So Carlos does get a point. Alice wins 2-1 to Carlos to 0 to Bob. Now, when you get more people, it's more involved. But all you have to do is make sure you have the proper amount of checks for how this works and how this occurs. Okay, so now the review worksheet. So it was going to be a book assignment, but I guess we pushed it up a day. So we had one on file from the old teacher, and then Mrs. Truesdale made another couple worksheets. I chose one of them. And I'll talk you through it. I guess I do have it ready. I'll pause the video for a second, and then I could use this for people that are not here, plus you guys, what we got to make sure we... Okay, this one I like. This is the one that Truesdale made, but she actually got it off online somewhere. This is good. This is one that, you have to create your own chart. This gives you meaning about what all the charts have meant in the notes that we've been doing. Like the very last example, this chart meant I have 3 people that voted people this way. 2 people did it this way. So instead of writing them all out in different columns, we organize the data. Well, now I'm asking you to organize the data. Here's the data. How many votes were there? 40. There's 40 total votes. 40 people voted. And they put these movies in rankings. So what you have to do is figure out how many people, and guess what? There could be a lot more possible ways of doing this. Let's figure out how many possible different ways of voting there could be. How many movies can you vote for in the first place? How many movies can you vote for? 4. You can put 4 in this position. How many can you put in this one? Well, I picked a movie, so how many could I pick in second? And how many could I pick in the third place? 2, and how many could I pick in the last place? There could be that many different ways of voting, which is what? Thing keeps coming up. There could be 24 different ways that this could have been written out. Isn't that wild? But there wasn't. We did do some work for you. These were the only 6 unique ways that people voted similarly. How many FTMCs do you see? Let's go ahead and answer that as you guys go through. You go ahead and do that. How many FTMCs are there? Which is, by the way, how I would rank them. Love Finding Nemo. Toy Story's next. It's very close. Could almost switch those. Monsters I Like. Cars, nah. I could do without it. You should have got 8. 8 FTMCs. By the way, what should all these numbers right here add up to become? 40. You're just counting the 40 votes. You're just organizing who's similar to who. Okay, then on this worksheet, if you wanted to do... there's the answers. I don't want to show that. All 4 methods that we talked about the last 3-4 lessons are done off of the same chart. Then the same thing's done with the other worksheet, which is a little bit... Well, it's a bigger chart, though, so it is kind of tough. All right, go on. Go ahead.